get to Kevin Green, who joins me now to get us across some of the data first and foremost before we dig into some of these headlines and these catalysts for this price action today. Factory orders data, KG, what are you seeing on that front?
So factory orders, we saw that coming in at 0.1% on a month-over-month basis. This is going to be for the month of January. That came in line with the street's expectations, and we did see actually a revision higher for the last print, which was previously 0.7%. That got revised higher to negative 0.7%. That got revised higher to negative 0.4%, so a slight improvement there. If you were looking at factory orders excluding transportation, that increased by 0.4% on a month-over-month basis. We also saw that improved for last month as well. So durable good, excluding defense, coming in at 0.5%, pretty much matching what we saw for last month. So no deterioration. Seems like the market actually had it priced in. This is not going to be a headline mover, just given the fact that we do have a lot of other items that are kind of hitting the tape. A lot of data hitting the tape earlier this morning. But seems like we're holding up when it comes to the factory side or the industrial base here in the United States.
Yeah, something to keep an eye on. Obviously, I was speaking to a guest yesterday who seemed to think that US manufacturing was one of the tailwinds, obviously, for the economy this year. So it's an important piece of the puzzle. But as you say, much more pressing things to look at today. First and foremost, that hot print on PPI. I mean, more than doubling what the expectations were here. Just walk us through that. I mean, can we take any comfort in any part of that print when you look under the hood as to, you know, when you break it down? Or, I mean, is this going to be really a headache moving forward?
Yeah, this could be a headache moving forward. Actually, if you look at the last couple of prints for PPI, they did come in a little bit hot, but it was due to actually trade margins improving, and we actually saw a decline of trade margins, or just margins in general, declining over the last 2 years. So we saw a rebound last month. This time around, it's really not the big pressure point. You are seeing headline PPI increasing by 0.7% on a month-over-month basis. Street was looking for 0.3%. Now, this is also a very difficult economic data point in order to estimate, but you did see also core PPI increasing by 0.5% month over month. Street was looking for 0.3% month over month. Now, there's a couple of components here. Services is continuing to move higher. We actually saw services inflation increasing by 0.5% on a month over month basis. Portfolio management fees increased by 1%. Brokerage and investment services increased by 4.2%. That kind of goes with the market that's very volatile. But even if you look at the good side of the equation, we saw an increase of 1.1% on a month-over-month basis. Food actually increased by 2.4%, and this is going to be the big problem. The food component, especially if you're looking at PPI or even CPI, and just looking across the food basket, actually has been a deflator for inflation for about a year or so. You're now starting to see those products actually catching a little bit of a bid. Fresh and dry vegetables on a year-over-year increase of 48.9%. That is going to be a problem, and if we continue to have higher prices because of inflation due to oil and energy, that will also translate into a lot of the other good components. And if it's remained sticky, that can also translate into the services component. So this is not a good print, especially for a day where the Fed's going to talk about the overall macroeconomic factors for the U.S. and the trajectory moving forward.
That's exactly right, and it's just about how people feel, KG, isn't it? I mean, obviously with those gas prices, the price at the pump, that, you know, obviously everyone's looking to see if we see any degree of demand destruction here, and then obviously if people go to the grocery store and prices are higher as well, I mean, that's really a double whammy here. So something to keep an eye on as far as some of that pass-through, feed-through to obviously what we see as far as sticker shock is concerned. Let's switch gears to the big story, which is driving a lot of this energy shock, and obviously the headlines out of the Middle East this morning with Iranian state TV or media saying that there's been an attack on an offshore nat gas field. That, as I mentioned, seemed to be the catalyst for what took us off the highs with the futures this morning. Just talk us through the details of that, how significant it is.
Yeah, so this was the South Pars natural gas facility. It's not only an extraction facility, but also a petrochemical and manufacturing site as well. Now, this field actually is being shared with Qatar, and so that also provides a little bit of a different element within this space. And you did see gas prices as well as crude oil prices moving to the upside here. Now, at the end of the day, we did see Iran actually publish some potential sites that could be hit. We also have Saudi Aramco evacuating re-rating one of their facilities here, Samref Refinery, due to the potential risk. Now, if Saudi Aramco does get hit, that would actually create a pretty decent problem, or a pretty major problem for the oil markets. We are still seeing a disconnect between the physical markets, which are trading at around $135 to $150 per barrel overseas, and what we are seeing for Brent crude as well as crude oil. I'm not sure how much that disconnect is going to be able to last here, given the events that we have. So a lot of volatility. This will drive the equity markets as well.
Yeah, and it's obviously going to drive the policy update, no doubt, from what we hear from the FOMC meeting this afternoon. I think, the markets are going to be hanging on to every word that Powell has to say. And I've been hearing a lot of commentary that he's probably expected to try to keep it as boring as possible, to try to reserve maximum optionality here as they really wait and see. But I think the markets are going to be just dissecting all that language to see where the emphasis lies here, given a lot of it has been on the jobs, but now you've got these inflationary pressures and the headwinds blowing very hard from the Middle East. Just talk us through the expectations for volatility this afternoon.
Well, we are not expecting any type of rate cut, and I think the bigger volatility measure that you're going to see, or the item, is going to be the summary of economic projections. Are we going to see Fed members massively adjust their projections moving forward, especially when it comes to economic growth as well as inflation? Now, if we do not see a pretty decent adjustment and it kind of comes in line with the street's expectations, that could actually be bullish for the equity markets. But if you do see a major re-rating to the downside when it comes to economic growth, or a major re-rating up to the upside when it comes to inflation, that will probably provide us a little bit more volatility in this market. For Jerome Powell, I would be very shocked if he really tries to outline a policy path moving forward, given the fact that he may be ending his term as a chairman here over the next couple of months. And so that actually may be a little bit more bullish than bearish. I think it's the summary of economic projections that's going to be the big headwind for this market. I would just want to highlight, last but not least, volatility is crushing here, and we actually did break a pretty decent trend line to the upside that's been intact for a fairly long time. And so you could actually see volatility crush to around that 18 level before we start seeing that pick up here again as well. So I think there's a lot more tailwinds, especially post-Friday options expiration, than headwinds in this market if we're able to kind of hold in this news flow that we've seen on a minute-by-minute basis.
He's very good at being measured. I mean, last time there was a lot of no comment, but as you say, no doubt looking for questions about himself and what he plans to do at the Fed beyond this term as well. KG, really appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us today and getting us across some of the price action and the data.